Okay. Um, First order of business today, it was the minutes from the last meeting, the December 20th, 2023 meeting, as we have called this meeting to order. Michael, you have received those minutes from me?
Yeah, I received them, reviewed them. They look fine to me. So I'll make a
Okay.
motion to approve the minutes for the December 20th meeting.
Okay, I'll stop you there.
Yeah.
This says that we're considering the 12/20/23 minutes for approval, and we are approving them. You're voting, I'll second the motion, and all in favor, aye, aye. So it's
Aye.
unanimous. I don't know if I have to do it individually, but I heard you.
Okay.
Okay. I can tell you that I've got to, I did not put on this that we approved the 11/29/23 minutes at our last meeting. I didn't put it on here, but we did not approve those minutes. They were not generated. Kathy was going to generate those from a recording that we sent to her after the meeting. So we have never made minutes for the 11/29 meeting. I will have to generate those myself, I guess now. So this is approved. The 12/20/23 meeting minutes are approved. The 11/29 minutes are not approved. They need to be generated for the next meeting. All right. This will be a short meeting. The press release I learned from you has been published and put on the website. I did manage to see it online at one of those presentations. The other one has a paywall or something. I couldn't see it, but
Right, the Sentinel and Enterprise. It's funny because I kind of get junk mail periodically from the Sentinel and Enterprise. I guess trying to sell a subscription, and I happen so you see like a headline, and I saw that. That was a few
I
days ago.
thought, well, we don't really know how much of that article, that what we wrote, they actually printed. Did they cut out, did they edit out paragraphs? So we don't know what they did. I would still like to know what they did, but I'm not going to go buy a newspaper to find out.
I'm pretty sure they probably just took it,
Yeah,
as
probably.
they kind of call that I forget, like user
That press
provided, like
release is already
an
on our
outside
website.
person sends something in, and they just print it. So
The press release has already been put on the website, and that's been done. The master plan development subcommittee. The message that we've been invited to attend the January 23rd, 7:30 p.m. meeting of the Board of Selectmen. And Terry has written to me that she supports, what we're doing. She understands and supports what we're doing. The message I got from Sabrina kind of indicated that there really wasn't necessarily an understanding that we had a different approach. We weren't presenting master plan and energy committee master plan. We were submitting goals to be submitted. So we've tried to correct all that, and we can do that when we meet with them. But I wanted to discuss here what kind, other than the presentation of what, the history of what we went through, Brent's part, and then Ed's part, and where we are, just explaining, quickly probably take about 1 minute to explain how we got from one to the other. And that these are our goals. But other than that, what is currently missing, and I've added to these documents. Right. The goals. I took the goals and I added the heading, the TC heading, and I added a space in between each of these paragraphs so that, if someone wanted to edit or write something, make a note, they'd have room to do so. And finally, what I noticed that's missing is that as an electronic file, this has a name and a date, but as a printout, it has no date that says, when this was generated, that's the original or whatever. And I ended up writing on them. Where did I write it? I ended up writing on them the ones that will actually give the committee, that it's right there. That's original with a date. It's from our meeting date tonight. And I've written this on each copy. Now, I wrote it instead of printing it because today I got home and did some work on my computer and went outside and plowed the snow. And I got back in. I could not open any of my Windows programs. Excel, Word, just won't open. Now, I can see the file name in the file manager, but I double click on it and it won't open. Something screwed up with my Microsoft 360 program. I have all the Microsoft programs on the computer. I can try moving them to my wife's computer, see if that works or whatever, but there's something screwed up with my computer. I couldn't even open Word, not just the file, but I couldn't get Word to open. So I wrote it on these because that might be how we do it. Michael, I did send you copies of each of these. Please hold on to your copy because we may need them later if I can't get at them.
Yeah.
Okay?
I actually just realized what I have open to refer to is an older version, which isn't on the, like, for example, on the Energy Committee letterhead. So I think I have to go back to your email. It was this week, right? It was like, yeah. So I have it. Yeah.
I would recommend that you send them to Sabrina and she puts them on SharePoint so that all the selectmen can have them prior to the meeting and can review them prior to the meeting.
Right. Okay. I mean, I can take care of that.
There are actually two documents that we would like to send to them. One is the energy goals one, which is this version, that I just described. It has the heading and the spaces. That would be one thing that we send to them. And the other would be, I made a copy.
Right, and the way Sabrina sets up our folder, anything that's on the agenda, she puts in a Word in the SharePoint. And so if you're on the agenda, so you'll have a folder because you're on the agenda, and we'll look in that folder for anything that you want to present. So just send them to Sabrina and we'll have them for the meeting. And
Okay,
then we'll bring them up during the meeting.
Michael doesn't have this one, but this is one that I sent already to you.
Is this, I now have the thing that you sent in an email like yesterday or
Is this
latest
the one,
version with
that says, the one that describes, the changes to the master plan, changes to our, what does it say? It says TEC communication regarding our subcommittee.
Yeah, they have to be sent to Sabrina, not to me. They have to come from you to Sabrina so that she can get them in the right folder.
Okay, so what I just described, Terry, is that I can't open the file. My computer's broken. If you have it, you've got the only copy. You know what I mean? That I can access. I have tomorrow off and I'm going to try to fix my computer, obviously. But right for now, here it is, going to be Thursday tomorrow. I can't send this to Sabrina because I don't have it. I can't get at it. All I have is the written copy that I saved from my last meeting. And I actually ended up made copies of this for this meeting in case some people showed up. So, you guys have the only copy that I can access today, is the way to put it. So I'd ask you to send it to Sabrina. Do you have this one, Mike?
Hold on. Yeah.
It won't say tabled on it. It'll say, it's the, let's see.
It's on our letterhead, and it's let me
It
see.
says-
That's what I have.
It was sent yesterday.
Oh, that I don't
PDC
remember
communication
seeing that.
subcom master plan development process.
I mean, that cover page, I just have the Townsend Energy Goals, a 2-page thing. It's on our letterhead, and it's got the 11 sort of goals, energy goals. But that looked different than what you just showed me. I don't know if I have that. Did you attach it to the like stuff for the meeting? Because I only saw
Let's see.
it was yesterday. Oh wait, Tuesday, January 16th. That's yesterday. So you sent an email and it had 3 attachments. One was the energy goals, one was the agenda, and one was the minutes from December. So the energy goals, I thought, is what we were talking about.
Now, Sabrina has a copy of the goals because that was copied to her, among other people.
Right.
All right. And let's see.
Maybe this other thing was earlier that you sent earlier.
No.
Because I'm trying to save everything now, and
Yes, and she also Sabrina has that one that I just showed you. Those were both sent to Sabrina.
Okay, I'll
And I
just
will-
confirm tomorrow and I'll make sure they're in the SharePoint folder.
All right, I am able to open those files, oddly enough, from my sent mail. I can open the file from my sent mail. I don't know. Anyway, so, but that is in my cell phone, not the laptop. So I don't really have the file in my cell phone, but I have a copy of the, what I sent, which included Sabrina. It says Master Plan Energy Committee. It was started with a Sabrina note to me, and then I responded. I believe to everybody. Maybe not. All right, I'll make sure that I'll try to assure that Sabrina has those 2 things. That's really all she needs for that committee. All right. Other than that, I wanted to talk, Mike, about in our presentation in preparation for our presentation with the Board of Selectmen next week. I don't know that we made it clear or that we need to, that the Energy Committee is the origin of the goals document, and that we will require an opportunity to review any changes before they go into it. We just can't have this thing working willy-nilly, right? Someone decides to add something and add it because they can edit it. Somehow or other, we have to assure that the content of that document is something that we will endorse, I don't know what could happen. Maybe everybody will say, oh, it's great the way it is, just leave it, I don't know. But if they do want to make edits, I think it should be clear that the Energy Committee is the clearinghouse for making changes. And if someone wants to make a change and we don't see eye to eye, we have to have them justify, what changes they want to make, perhaps. I don't know. But I just see that as a possibility. And I don't know how to make that clear at the meeting other than to make a statement. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a little vague as to what the process is.
Yes, we don't know.
Obviously, we're an advisory committee, so I suppose I don't know who has the final word on
Well,
something like
the Board
this.
of
In other words,
Selectmen
this is
has,
going to be an addendum to the master plan, and
the Board of
who's
Selectmen has the final
authorized
say.
to put specific language in the master plan. I mean, we can give our opinion one way or the other.
Right, but
Now this is our
we
opinion.
would recommend or not recommend the final document, you know?
Right,
And it is the Board of Selectmen that has the final say, not us. We'll make a recommendation,
right.
but, and if there's a conflict, we'll present them with a conflict. Here's what they say, this is what we want to do, and here's why, decide. I guess that's the way it'll have to go. But
Yeah, but historically, the board always defers. I mean, we have to accept what we're the board that has to accept what you present and comment on it. But historically, we say, we defer to your expertise and accept what you're presenting. But
yeah,
since this is the first time with the Energy Committee, I really wanted you to get before the full board and make sure that we're going down the right path. And they just might,
Sure.
change the direction just a little bit, but not
Mhm.
actually change the goals. I don't think there's I know for sure that they don't have a plan on doing that.
Okay. All right. At some point, and I don't know where, we would publish the goals. You publish it as a set for public discussion, or as a final set, or whatever the process ends up being, Terry. I don't know what it is, but at some point,
There's no public discussion allowed at the selectmen's meeting, so it would just be with the selectmen.
all right. So the would we suggest that this goes to before it gets published, generally, wouldn't it work well for us to have just the chairs of committees, the department heads, take a look at it and say, yeah, this seems like a good direction we could work with, or not. And
Well,
then
I
it could
think
go to the whole.
the Board of Selectmen the goal is to ultimately put the whole plan together, and that's gonna go before the whole town.
Right,
for
but
approval.
there's I'm looking at stages. This is the first stage, and I think it's fairly complete. But I don't know what other people might see. And if they wish to make changes and so forth, wouldn't we like to have that initially done, have the police chief and the fire chief and people like that look at it and say, yeah, we can work with this. It's going to be fine for us. Or do we just want to?
Why don't we wait and see what the other board members have to say about that?
Okay. That's the content of that. Moving on, we had discussed whether we need to describe the process, and the answer was no. We're going to wait and see what the board says, and you suggested, Terry, that the planning board is it the planning board is really the seat or the home of the master plan? Are they holding the master
That's
plan?
to the best of my understanding, that is correct.
Okay, well, they're really essential to this. So if they were at that meeting, on Tuesday, I don't know if they are always there or whatever, but if they were there, they'd be able to help direct us from right from there, rather than go to the board and then the planning committee. You could have a discussion to complete that, right? That whole discussion with the planning board and the Board of Selectmen. They could ask questions and so forth at the same meeting. This section of the agenda, which is where we just this page, the beginning of page 2, that was really set out there to describe our approach and how we're going about this. We have to see what they say. You got the annual report, Teresa, ahead of schedule, I hope, and that's already been submitted.
Yes, it has.
I sent that to you, done. Now, next item on the agenda was Green Communities Grant Program status. I didn't want to let this go because even though we can't do anything with it until the current work is done, the quotation that we have from RISE is incomplete. I don't know if you guys remember, but last year there was a period of time when they wanted to requote everything, but they couldn't do it because they had lost all the records. The people who had been here, who'd done the work previously, left their company, and they could not find the files. They had nothing to start with. So they had to like start over again with our quote. And in order to participate in the fall, we had to guide them to what our priorities were. And we ended up with 85% of the work being in one school. But we did get a large grant. The existing quote is missing 8 to 12 lines that they did not requote because they didn't have time. But we have to have those items quoted, by at least by mid-spring, because if we can get all this work done, we'll have an opportunity in the fall to go again. Go.
Exactly, and the board is going to be expecting, not at the next meeting, but they are going to eventually expect me to present to them how the money is going to be spent.
How the money was what?
To be distributed.
Oh, right. Well, I think what the distribution of the money is already determined by the grant. They've spelled out how it's going to be distributed. Which is curious to us, and what we want to know is how far have they gotten? When are they going to get done? All this work ought to be expedited. And we do now have, fortunately, communication established with the schools. This David Amari apparently is the director of buildings and grounds at North Middlesex Regional School District. And I have seen emails from him and gotten copies where he is engaged, which is great. I love to know that they are working on it. And then there's only 15% of the work being done, to actual town buildings. And Rob would be able to, give you feedback on how that's going.
But I think it will also help, since you're there in front of the board, to give them a clearer understanding about how the grant money, how it's being used, how RISE is involved. We know a little bit, but not enough, just a little bit, enough to be harmful and not enough to be helpful. So there might be, just expect that they might ask for some education in that area too.
All right. I don't know what questions the board might come up with, and what discussion might occur, but I'm thinking that from what we've seen so far, it would probably take about 15 minutes of the board time at that meeting.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take any more than that.
Okay. So my suggestion here under this agenda item was that we begin to secure promise dates from the people who are actually doing the work. When we have this done, and if it's after mid, spring, then we better get on it, because we will not get every time we submit a request for a grant, we are not necessarily going to be a winning bidder. We're not necessarily going to get it. Someone else may get it. So we are, the more eligibility we have to get a quote, to submit a request for a grant, an application, the more likely we are to get them, because you don't get them every time. But we have been fairly fortunate, we've gotten a lot of them. But invisible to us right now is the fact that we did not get the assistance grants that we applied for last year, because they were very popular and other people got them and we didn't. We will reapply, but these are technical assistance grants. Mike and I both have some background in energy and lighting and stuff, but we're not experts in how to execute a decarbonization for a town, and experts would come and help us with that if we get those grants. That's what we're looking for. Any questions or comments on that section of the agenda? Nothing?
Nope.
Okay. We got any topics not expected by the chair at this time? Terry?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Public
Yeah.
forum, I don't see anybody around. We can schedule the next meeting. I'd like to avoid a vacation week, so the 19th is President's Day.
President's Day? No.
You want to come back on Valentine's Day, St. Valentine's Day? Is that a bad thing to try to do? St. Valentine's Day.
Well, let's put it this way. If I were to go out with Ona for dinner, the last day I would do it is Valentine's Day. Because
This is my 43rd wedding anniversary.
Okay,
Oh,
we're not
wow.
doing-
That doesn't matter. We go out early.
you got married on Valentine's Day. Cool.
Yeah, and you know why? Because Steven's like, oh, this way I don't have to buy flowers twice a year.
Are we okay with February 14th?
I think that should be fine. Yeah.
Terry? That's okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
2/14 is the date. I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Seconded, all in favor, Michael, Ron?
Yes. Michael Brown, yes.
Okay, we are adjourning. Hartley,
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thanks.
7:28, thank you.